Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel Lagnajita's Videos with a Purpose. My purpose today to come here is to begin with a question. Are you a killer? Surprised? Well, Lagnajita's Videos with a Purpose has brought again a book review. Review of a book named Vadh Again. The writers are two, Mr. Shatadar Lahiri and Mr. Sonam Malik, jointly called Satnam. As the name rightly says, so have been the stories well plotted, spine-chilling truth bringing out a question to all. And as you read the stories, you will be forced and pushed to question yourself. Have you really not committed any vadh of any character? Well, let's go forward and look more into the book. I shall start reading the preface and the forewords. Both will tell you and give you an idea of how the authors have presented Vadh, the killing of characters. Here I start. We have learned to fly the air like birds and swim the sea like fish. But we have not learned the simple art of living together as brothers. Martin Luther King Jr. said this during his 1964 Nobel Prize acceptance speech. Here goes the preface. There is pressure everywhere. There is pressure to perform, to sustain, to live up to others' expectations, to retain authority, to claim a position of significance, maintaining relationships and responsibility. There is pressure everywhere. The various norms and nuances of our social constitution do at times get us to do what we are not ready for. The prologue. The prologue of Vadh is all about the gory fact of Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu being killed in Chakravuha. We all know the epic, the Mahabharata, and the characters of Arjun, the Veer Yodha, and Keshav or Madhusudan or Lord Shri Krishna, as we all know him. Here is a conversation between Keshav, Lord Krishna, and Arjun. You knew everything, Keshav, sobbed Arjun. Why did you stop me from going out of the warring zone? Parth, it is true that I knew everything, confessed Shri Krishna. However, I let the events happen, since everything happening here will have high bearings to the history of mankind. But why Abhimanyu? Cried Arjun. Couldn't it be someone else? Parth, Shri Krishna said in a soft, consoling voice. It was important that Abhimanyu to get killed. The impact is larger. They had resorted to cheating, Keshav, said Arjun. It was not fair play. What is fair play, Parth? Smiled Shri Krishna. Abhimanyu was interested in music and administration. He was an able organizer. He had been looking for and after all the necessary requirements of the soldiers, the resources and logistics, while all you brothers were busy in war. He was a great orator. His oration had been a motivating factor for all the soldiers in the war field whenever they felt low due to the marauding enemies. He was a great artist. All his sketches of the battlefield of Kurukshetra will always dominate the pages of history. Did you ever heat for such qualities? Your ambition was to see him as an invincible soldier. You thought about nothing else. So, what is the lesson that you want this incident to hold in history? Asked the sorrowful and now regretful Arjun. One should not put compulsions into the lives of people, stated Sri Krishna. Whenever people will impose their works or others to lead a life not meant for them, vadh or killing will keep happening. History will bear semblance to this fact. As I now finish the prologue, I'll just read few lines from a story and you can surely find your insights. Are you not making a vadh, or are you doing so? Are you taking your own time to follow your passion along with the other things that are necessary for mankind for living? Or are you just forcing yourself? Are you pushing yourself to be better than today? Building yourself up for tomorrow? Or are you just living for the sake of living, mere perfunctorily? Let's hear and go into the story now. The first story, the deserted lyrics, is as follows. Abhigyan was still hearing the applauds. They were still ringing in his ears as he scrambled for the last bus. He knew that at home he would be confronted by his fuming father and apprehensive mother as soon as he would reach. His marks this term had nothing to flaunt, though in the heart of his hearts, Abhigyan knew that his interests for academics were steadily on the decline. His love for classical music had skyrocketed to new heights, which had made him the cynosure of all programs, festivals, gatherings, and parties. Today was no exception. Abhigyan's fame as a singer had spread far and wide. His growing fan base had also created a responsibility to get sharper at his talent. He had increased his hours of riyaz to the utter displeasure of his father. Every week he received invitations to perform at various programs, which started infuriating his father further. The harmony of the Sinha household started getting ruffled every passing day. Thus the story, The Deserted Lyrics, is all about Abhigyan and his love for music. How he composed his own song and gave them music, gave them melody. But his father was totally against it. Finally, somehow, Abhigyan managed to get into engineering, and he also had a recruitment in the irrigation department with the government of India. This added flight to the wings of his father as he seemed to soar the heights of euphoria. Abhigyan could hardly remember when his dad had last embraced him. With spring on his steps, Abhigyan's father had announced his son's gala success to all and sundry. Abhigyan's mother, though herself a music practitioner and music lover, yet could not stand and support her son. Later on in the story, in a nutshell if I say, we will see that Abhigyan has applied for India's talent hunt and a letter was scheduled to come to his home. But when the letter arrives, his father was dubious. But finally, after a thought, he found that his son, since a few days, have been acting very indifferent and was away from the music of life. Abhigyan once returned from office and said to his parents, I want to tell you the truth. I am unable to bear the pressure of work now. I am not a good engineer, Mom. I am managing somehow. We also need to tell you the truth, said Abhigyan's father, reclining towards his son. The letter from the selection committee of the India Talents had come to us. We had hidden it from your sight. I knew it, Dad, replied Avigyan feebly. Why didn't you tell us then? Cried Avigyan's mother, Pratima. Lyrics had already deserted my music, Mom, said Avigyan. I couldn't see my dad suffer because of my music. I wanted to be a singer, to spread happiness, and not to be the reason of anybody's displeasure. Thus, if you go through the story, not only this, there are many others. For example, the deserted lyrics is followed by a few other stories, like My Dad Didn't Know. And all these stories have one central theme, the theme of killing oneself, killing the character, killing the passion, running behind competition, running behind and running with peer pressure. It is indeed difficult to be in a place filled with pressure. But at least if you can open up and talk, if you can open up and speak for yourself, there are ears who will hear you. There are hearts who will feel you. There will be empathy that will be showered upon you. Yes, it might seem difficult in the beginning, but once you start climbing, you will surely reach that top, that pinnacle of success that you wish. But nothing is possible if you don't yourself think to change and make a new beginning. Yesterday, we cannot go back to yesterday and start a change or make a change. But today, yes, we can surely start to make a new beginning from today onwards for a better tomorrow. Now about the authors. Well, if I speak about Vadh, I must also speak a little more about the writers. The writers, Mr. Shatadar Lahiri and Mr. Sonam Malik, both are engineers by profession, but writers by passion. Both are voracious readers and versatile writers too. Their writing doesn't only limit into this book, Vadh, but also has taken place in another series named Vadh Again, and a few horror stories too. Well, Mr. Shatadar Lahiri has also written a few other books called Kirdaars, A Tale of Character, Extrication from Extermination, The Resurgence of the Resolute, Rediscovery of Ladakh, Collaboration for Redemption. Therefore, viewers, if you are a student, if you are a student of English language, or if you just want to give a shine to your language and your stories, the two authors, Mr. Shatadar Lahiri and Mr. Sonam Malik, will play an ideal role for you through their writing. Don't forget to look into the book. Don't forget to go through the stories and read them. I will surely give the link of the books in my description box. Today, as of now, I'm Lagnajita Chatterjee signing out, hoping that you rethink, you learn, unlearn and relearn about your own mindset, about your own thoughts. Are you following your passion along with your profession, or are you just making a vadh, killing of a character? Thank you. Have a nice day.